All right, everyone, let's go ahead and begin. Wow, what a great, huge group here. It's lovely to see so many familiar faces and a lot of new faces. Wonderful, wonderful. All right, so I see you found the chat, most of you. Um, if you're on your computer or on your phone, you can go down to the little menu on the computer. It's at the bottom. I think it's the same on the phone. And you can click on the chat icon and that'll open up a window. So we can communicate. What we're going to do this evening is we're going to do some work. We're going to um, do an exploration, an experiential discovery of a deeper and more powerful self that we've been hiding from ourselves all this time. And this is something that once you see it, once you uncover this very powerful energy that is the real you, then you're going to see a whole different picture of life. And this is a great opportunity for us to shift where we've been putting our focus on and put it on to something that really matters. And what I'm going to demonstrate for you this evening is to experience something that matters way more than all these problems, all the uncertainty that's going on right now. And coming from this place, it's a place of rock solid confidence and positivity and a knowingness of your deeper self. And from that position, there's nothing to be afraid of. And it's very important for us to move up into this place. And that's what we're going to show you how to do. All right. So in the chat, let me know where you are at, where you're dialing in from, and also how are things going where you are. Are you on complete lockdown? Can you leave your home? What's the situation? How are you feeling? How's the feeling of the people around you? And in Romania, y'all just went into full lockdown, huh? Told you not to go out? Not yet. Okay. Yeah. Yeah. I've been watching what's been going on in Italy. It's really, really intense. All right. Interesting. Yeah. So here in Amsterdam, we're under recommendation to stay inside. And if we go outside, not to get closer than 1.5 meters, 2 meters from each other. So today has been pretty quiet outside, not many people out. Yesterday, there were quite a few people out. People were walking around out in the park. And so far, it's been pretty relaxed, but I think underlying that is kind of a sense of worry. Now, this really brings up a good point. What are we doing here with our life? You see, how many of you right now want to change what's going on? Want things to go back to the way they were, like a few weeks ago, right? Anybody want to change what's happening? Anybody want to like hit an undo button with this? Want to get back to your normal life? Well, yeah, I see a lot of you are pretty positive. Martin, you're enjoying your time at home? All right. So some of you are feeling not so much. You're kind of rolling with the flow, and some of you you're saying, of course. Now, this is a very good opportunity to examine ourselves. How we're in this now situation where the future is uncertain. We don't know what's going to happen. How long are we going to be forced to stay inside? And what is this going to do to the economy? How long will it take to rebuild our life? And some of us, we have some very immediate concerns, worried about either getting sick. Some of us may have lost our job. We're wondering, how am I going to pay the bills? But notice the part of you that wants to get out of this scary situation, have some sort of certainty, a sense of, okay, I know what's going on. And also, part of you wants to get back to your life, right? Let's stop this on hold business. I had plans. I want to get right back to those. Anybody notice that? I see some of you are shaking your head, but you know what you're working towards. But here, look at this. Where are most of us looking for our happiness? Right now, looking for our happiness. Most of us were looking for it in our life that's now been taken away from us. And we're just sitting here wondering, what do I do now? What's going to happen? And we're not feeling so happy right now. And this shows how much we think our happiness lies in the world, but it doesn't. You see, even before the situation, just a couple weeks ago, this life that we kind of wish wasn't interrupted, if we step back a couple of weeks, we think that if we could just be right back into normal, we'll be happy. But how happy were we a couple weeks ago? We were still struggling. We were still complaining about things in life that are not fair, people that are corrupt, unscrupulous, and we're not getting ahead, and we're working on our goals. And those goals are very important to us. But now, they're taken away. Some of those completely, those goals, they're just left dangling until whenever we can go back and start working on them again. Right? So even we think that our goals, our dreams in life, what we're going to do, what we're going to accomplish, that's going to make us happy. And that's us looking for our happiness in the world. And it isn't. And see, now we could really examine this, see for ourselves that even when we're accomplishing our goals, when we're moving forward in our life, it's never enough. We're never satisfied. And you look at all those crazy um, actors, musicians, all the rich and famous people, Now they're really displaying what big egos they have, because now they're sitting at home. They don't have people to adore them. And so they're acting out. They're crying, they're acting like babies. And see, these people are a great example that our happiness doesn't lie in the world. Because even those that get everything, they're still not happy. Look at Michael Jackson, Whitney Houston, Robin Williams. See, people that have everything, tons of people that adore them, got all the money, got 10 houses. And what do? They end up on drugs. They end up committing suicide. They end up trying to preach to everybody, like there's some big moral figure, because it's never enough. They're never satisfied, and we are never satisfied. So here we are right now with an opportunity to see this clearly. Our happiness isn't in the world. Therefore, we must look in a different direction. See, right now, we have no choice. Either we could sit and wish things were different, fight with what's going on, or use this as an opportunity to open up to a bigger life than what we've been living already. A life that really fulfills us, a life that we are completely engaged in every single moment, where we're happy and we feel alive. And this is a great wake-up call. So we can wake up and really start living. Now, I know there are a lot of you who were invited in here, and this method is new to you. So I'm going to give you a brief introduction about what we do here. Now, what we practice is a method of undoing what's not real in us, undoing a lie that we've been telling ourselves, and discovering a real truth about ourselves. And this is a very, very simple method. And it was something that was discovered many years ago, back in the 1950s, by a physicist and an engineer. And this guy's name was Lester Levinson. Now, back then, Lester was 42 years old. And what happened is he got his second massive heart attack at just 42 years old. And his heart condition was so bad. And back then, they didn't have the technology to really work on him. So they said, look, it's so bad, we estimate that you have 2 weeks to live. We can't do anything for you, so we're just going to send you home. Sorry. They sent him home with a death sentence. Now, when he went home, you see, Lester had spent his whole life really studying everything that he could to understand what life is all about. He studied physics, mathematics, psychiatry, economics, medicine, to really understand what makes the whole universe tick and why are we here. And when he went home, the first thing that Lester said to himself was, gee, Lester, you are stupid, stupid, stupid. Because all that knowledge that he'd studied did him no use. It didn't get him the answers that he was looking for. It only got him to a place where he had 2 weeks to live. And he said, wow, boy, you've just have wasted your life. So he said, well, I'm not ready to die yet. I'm still breathing. I still have time, and I can still do something about this. And what he did is, being a scientist, he knew that if the formula isn't working, you erase the formula. It's like that hypothesis doesn't work. Let's start from the beginning. And that's what he did. So he started to examine his life, and he saw that all the times when he was ill, when he had like a health problem, every time that he had a relationship problem, fights with others, disagreements, feeling disconnected, and all the times in his life when he had financial problems because he's a serial entrepreneur. He had this tendency to make money, lose money, make money, lose money, and so on. All those times, he was looking for his happiness in the world. He was looking for the world to give him love, to give him acknowledgement. Whereas all the times when he was healthy and prosperous and happy, and his relationships were really easy, was all the times in his life when he set that wanting aside, and instead of looking for love, he was giving it. He was just giving love and approval without any need or thought of getting anything in return for it, just giving it freely. And that was when his life was the greatest. So he asked himself, well, if I can let go of looking for it, and if I can let go of that negative feeling, that lacking feeling, that needy feeling that I'm always walking around with, needing to feed, that if I can let that go, what difference would that make? Now, asking himself this question and going this direction, he stumbled upon a natural ability that we all have to let go of our negativity. Our negativity that's really getting stirred up right now. Our fear, our anger, all this stuff, all these emotions that are taking us for a ride right now. Restlessness, needing something to be different right now. All this negativity, he just found a natural way to just drop it. And right behind it was just this wonderful power. Not just a power, but a deep intelligence, a deep knowingness. I had answers for everything. And with this came a connection with everyone and everything in the whole universe. And out of this, a deep sense of safety and security, of eternality. And what Lester discovered through this process was his control over his world. He was no longer a victim to it. You see, just by letting go of his negativity, he cured his body. After 1 month of just letting go, his whole heart condition went away, as well as all of his other illnesses. He had a massive amount of problems in his body, from ulcers to every allergy you can imagine. And all of it went away. And he also mastered his finances. Instead of struggling, instead of scheming and planning and building for himself, he discovered how easy it is, how he could just allow himself to be abundant in every way. He had that much power over his life. And as he continued letting go, he undid his whole ego, dropped it, that false sense of self. And he woke up, really became alive. And that's been his story ever since, this incredible aliveness. And he spent the rest of his time here showing others what he discovered. And that's what we practice here. So, what I'm going to do is I'm going to open up and work with you one on one. And what you could do is in your interface, if you go and you click view participants, you'll see a list and you'll see your name in that list. And you can select yourself and you could raise your hand. So let me ask you, what is it that you're experiencing right now that that's getting you feeling afraid or out of control, right? What do you feel out of control about? And what I'm going to show you is how to turn that around. So you can get a sense of confidence and certainty, clarity, and you get a sense of certainty about moving forward, right? And if you're new here, just follow along. I'll explain what I'm doing as I go along, but just follow along because everything that we do here is incredibly simple. Just practice it. And what we do is experiential, meaning you're not going to get it in your mind. So if you're going to sit there and try to understand what it is that we're doing, how this works, you're going to try to figure it out, you're going to waste your time. You're just going to feed your mind. But what I'm saying here is just set your mind aside. Open up your heart. Really listen closely. Follow along with the example. Experience it for yourself and see what you discover as we go through this evening. All right, I'll start with you, Jan.
Hi, Kris.
How are you doing?
Um, can say I'm doing good, but I think the most important manifestation of this fear that is very very big now is that I have the tendency to make scenarios in my head.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of trying to control uh, I don't know, to avoid the bad that could be.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And look at how smart you think you are. And I mean that sincerely, because I
Yeah, yeah,
know that you've dedicated all of your life to understanding the mind and helping
yes,
others.
yes,
And you don't stop. I mean, you're taking on more and more to get better and better,
yes,
right?
yeah,
So all that knowledge that you've accumulated in your mind, you see, it doesn't have the answers for you.
yes,
Even the good, positive stuff that you've read and listened to, your mind can't give you the answer. You see that?
yes,
Right? And see, this is the same thing that Lester discovered. It's like, wow, all this wonderful stuff that I filled my mind up with, it's not helping me, right? In fact, all it is getting you stirred up
yeah,
because, look, it's giving you a bunch of scenarios, almost all of them negative.
yeah. No, not
One
almost
out of
all
a
of them.
hundred is, oh, things might not
All
be
of
so bad. But the other 99 are like, holy shit, right?
yeah.
Yeah.
Even small things that then let's say a cold that usually is not a big deal. Now I tend
You
to
wonder, okay, ooh,
yeah.
does
What
this
is
meet the symptoms? Did I
yeah.
just get the virus? Am I going to give it to my family now? Right?
Yes, yes. What I'm gonna do? But yeah, a lot of stuff.
Yeah. And look, you don't have any answer right now.
Yes.
Can you predict the future? Are you a fortune teller?
No.
No. So here you are. You're just sitting here guessing, well, what's going to happen? You have no idea. And look at
Yes.
what it's doing to you by engaging your mind. It's not lifting you up, it's pulling you down, right?
Yes.
Because that's the way that the mind works. I'm just going to point this out for everybody here because you know this. You see, a lot of us really don't pay attention to what our mind is. We give it more credit than it deserves. We think that it's this wonderful, omnipotent, knowing being. You know, it's like the great Oz from the Wizard of Oz, right? Oh, powerful Oz, give me your knowledge. And we go to our mind, going to it for answers. But what is it? It's just a voice in your head, right?
Of course.
It's a voice that talks to you. Sometimes it says nice things. Most of the time, not so nice. Most of the time, it's very critical and complaining and dissatisfied and judging, right? And when it says things like, oh, the end is nigh, everything's going to end up terribly, you're screwed. Now, who said that you need to listen to that? After all, how does that information help you? Does that give you something to work with to create something positive?
No, it's just keeping me in the same place.
Yeah. And who said that you had to listen to it?
Uh, it's an unconscious decision. It's an
Yeah.
automatic decision.
But it's your decision, whether
Yes.
conscious or unconscious, you made that decision. But
Yes.
you see, it's not necessary because it gives you a bunch of negativity. It's not helpful and it just stirs you up. Now, where did this voice come from? And again,
From
I'm saying this
inside.
for everybody to stop and examine right now. Who gave this voice to you?
It's my voice.
Yeah, it belongs to you. See, it doesn't talk to anybody else. When you go to sleep at night, your mind doesn't go get in the car and hang out with other friends and have a conversation with them. It's only talking to you, which means it's your voice. It belongs to you. But see, we've gotten into this master slave dynamic with our mind. Now, it belongs to us. We're supposed to be the master, but how are we acting? We're acting like a slave. We're groveling up to it. Tell me what to do. It's giving us a bunch of negativity, and we're bearing all of that. We're just taking it and say, okay, I have to carry this, right? So now that we start to see what the mind really is, we see that there must be a better way than having to cuddle up to this thing. We can start looking in a different direction now. All right.
Yes.
Okay. So, Jan, all these stories that your mind is telling you right now about this problem and that problem. What about this? Well, I need to find an answer to that. Right now, who's observing this mind? Who is here right now listening to all of this advice?
It's it's also me, an observer.
Yeah. See, everybody, pay attention to this. Who's aware of your mind right now? And this is something that you can't really put your finger on. It has no body, it has no face, no name. It's just a silent presence that you are. And this is the dynamic. Your mind is talking to you, the observer, and you're receiving it. Now, if you identify with it, with that mind, You got problems. See, you got fear. You're frustrated and all this stuff, right?
Yeah.
But when you
It's
look at the
taking.
silent part of you, does that part have any fear?
No, no.
No.
It's beyond.
Yeah, it's beyond all of this. And it's just in the moment. And this part of you never changes. If you go and you examine your life, all the stages of your life, when you're a young boy, and when you were adolescent in school, and when you were in the army, and when you were in graduate school, right? Notice the story of your life always changes and there's ups and downs, but there's one thing that remained constant in all of that. That was you, the silent observer that was there to witness all these moments in your life. And that part of you has never changed, has it?
Yes, never change.
Right. And that part of you is changeless and unaffected by even all of this turmoil that's going on. So, what we need to do is let go of identifying with the mind and identify with this witness. Another word I used to call it is beingness, right? Just your beingness, the fact that you are just being, not being something, not being a father, not being a husband, not being a psychotherapist, not being someone who's there for people that seek your help, but just being, right?
Yeah.
And when you identify with that, that's where you find solutions. And that's if you move forward from this point now, then you're going to have an incredible life, right? And that's what we're here to do. This is why this is the perfect opportunity to get ourselves straight and move forward in the right way. All right. So, what part of you is bothered? What are you bothered about?
Um,
What's one thing that
my part of me that wants to imagine the future, the tomorrow, the day after tomorrow, next month, next year.
Mhm.
It's
All
a
right.
part of me that is it's in fear and in wanting control, it's losing control.
Okay. So, when you think about losing control, and everybody follow along, think about something that you're bothered by. Maybe you're bothered by not being able to go outside. You're bothered by your job, your business, if it's going to fall apart. How long are we going to do this? How can we sustain this? My life is over, right? Maybe you're bothered by having to delay a vacation or plans of yours.
Uh, all the plans.
Yeah, right. So when you think about this, you see, when you're in your mind, all it does is give you grief, gives you a bunch of negative solutions, consequences. It's inevitable. You're screwed. But if you move out of your mind, see, you're never going to resolve it. See, how long have you been thinking about it? You've been sitting at home probably for at least a week now.
I see a process inside of me. I have a kind of hope that tomorrow will be better, and tomorrow uh, I'm looking for the news and how many people died, how many people are new infected. So the hope is it's ending in a disappointment, and the fear is increasing.
Yeah. And how does that help you?
It's not helping me.
Oh, 750 people died in Italy today. Oh, 40 people died in Romania. Oh. 80 people died in New York. Oh. How does it help you?
It's not
Then you
helping
get to
me.
feel bad for those people. But
It's just
look, the
an
point is
illusion.
that you don't resolve anything from your mind. It just goes on and on and on. It's like a tangled web. So you can't undo that suffering. And you're not going to find a solution up there. But where you can undo it and where you can find a solution is now going down to your feeling center. So what I want you to do is get out of your mind for a moment. Now close your eyes, put your head down towards your stomach or chest so you can really pay attention to what you feel in your feeling center here. When you think about the crappy situation, and do you notice a tightness in your stomach or chest?
Yes.
You feel that?
Yes.
Now what that is you pushing on your feelings, right? You're fighting with them, holding them down. And we all do this out of habit. When we have fear, we don't like the fear. So we try to keep it at bay. But that doesn't make the feeling go away, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yes.
So now, instead of pushing down on it, instead of trying to keep it away from you, instead, welcome it up now. And wherever you feel that tightness, where do you feel it?
I feel it in deep in my stomach.
Okay.
It's different than other times. It's a very deep one.
Okay. Good. So right in front of that, open up an imaginary door
Yes.
right in front of that knot in your stomach. And let that energy now move right out that door.
Yes.
And let it go out that door even more
Yes.
and even more
Yes.
and even more.
Yes.
Just imagine it as energy leaving through that door, whatever that looks like to you. Just
Yes.
imagine it going out the door and more and more
Yes.
and even more and even more
Yes.
and even more and even more.
Yes.
And how does that feel?
Much easier. It was a lot of tension. I
Right.
feel lighter, much lighter.
Right. Now, see, you've been doing this for a while,
Yeah.
and you see how easy it is to fall into the old habit of fighting with your feelings and suppressing them, right? Even though you've experienced what it is like to release, but
Yeah. It was shocking for me.
yeah,
Friday, not Friday, um, Thursday evening, I was shocked. It was like a
by how
shock.
you felt.
The reality has changed very.
In the world.
Yes, yes,
All right. Look, here's the big lesson for this evening is your happiness doesn't depend on the world.
yes,
And right now, this should be super clear
yeah,
because here you were just a couple of weeks ago working in the world, working to build your life in your world, make it better. right?
Yeah.
And all it took was this, and all of that is taken away from you.
Yeah.
You can't go to the office, can't see clients, can't go outside. And there's this dangerous virus that's going
Yes.
around.
I'm worried
You
for
take
my
out your
family.
family,
Yeah.
right? You might lose everything,
Yes. Yes.
right?
True.
So it should be real clear. Our happiness isn't in the world because it could be taken away from us like that.
Yes.
Now, what does this mean? Well, it's a lesson for us to claim our happiness now, to be happy despite what's going on, no matter what our circumstances are, no matter what's going on in life. That's the real lesson here. Now, some of us might be thinking, no way, I don't want to live like that, right? My world is supposed to make me happy. Those people in my life, they're important. I'm not going to give up holding on to that. But our lesson here is to discover who we are, that we are a master. See, Lester, he found out for himself that he's a master, and we are too. But if we keep going on playing these games, we'll never realize this truth until we make this simple choice. I'm going to be happy no matter what's going on. Because someone who is a spiritual master, there's someone who's mastered their mind and mastered their happiness, where they're not bothered by anything, right?
Yes. Yes. It's true.
And the only thing that's bothering you is your feelings. You're
Absolutely.
so bothered by your feelings that you want to push them down.
Absolutely.
But you see, when you opened up, you let that feeling out, it felt better, right?
Yes.
Felt
Much better.
lighter, a little bit
Mu-
happier, a little bit more
much.
positive.
Yeah.
And this shows you that right behind those feelings, you're using them to cover up your true happiness.
It's
And
very
you're
clear.
covering up that happiness all this time and then trying to seek it artificially through the world, right?
Yes. Yes. Yes.
Right. Now, can you see that you've been disapproving of what's going on?
Yeah. Absolutely.
Okay. So look at what you're contributing to the world. And I know you're someone who wants to contribute something
Yeah.
good to the world, right?
Yes.
But here we have a negative situation. And by disapproving of it, you're contributing more negativity to it.
Yes.
You're making it
Right.
worse.
Yes.
You're making it worse for you.
Now.
So that doesn't help, does it? Is disapproving of what's going on going to just make things better? I mean, you
No.
hope so, but how realistic is that?
No. It's
Okay.
worse.
So yeah, it's not going to do anything. And who's doing it?
It's my responsibility. My responsibility. I'm doing it.
My good. So since you're doing it and it's not improving the situation, now you can make a choice. I'm going to be positive and love the world right now. Or I'm going to be negative and hate it and want it to change and be different. Now, which experience do you think is a better experience?
Um, I'm gonna be positive and love the world as it is.
Okay, good. So, could you let go of disapproving of what's going on?
Yes.
And could you let go of disapproving of it a little bit more?
Yes.
Could you let go of disapproving of it a little bit more?
Yes.
And could you let go of disapproving of it even more?
Yes.
And could you let go disapproving of it even more
Yes.
and even more
Yes.
and even more?
Yes.
How do you feel now?
I feel love.
Good. Now, could you give love? See, now that you have it, could you give it to the world
Yes.
exactly as it is, the situation right now? Could you
Yes.
give some love and approval?
Yes.
And just to clarify for everybody here, this doesn't mean that you have to agree with it. That you're like, oh, I love that people are dying. No, it's just, you see, being negative towards it doesn't help anything. And love, it's like an attitude. It's not like something mental. It's just an attitude. Like, Jan, you love your son, right?
Absolute.
And you don't have to think about it. You
And my
don't
daughter.
tell yourself why you love him. You just do. And the moment
Yes.
you see him, you light up. Like, ah, there you are.
Yes.
I love you.
Yes. Yes. Yes.
But
Yes.
sometimes it's
It's
very,
very clear. Yeah.
you don't do it through your mind. Now, the same way, could you love the world?
Yes.
Just open up
Yes.
and love it.
Yes. Absolutely.
And could you love it some more?
Yes.
And could you love it some more?
Yes.
And some more?
Yes.
And some more?
Yes.
And even more?
Yes.
And even more?
Yes.
And even more?
Yes.
Right? And how does that feel?
It's wonderful. It's my decision. I
Mm-hmm.
feel courage and big love,
Yeah.
great love.
And that's an important thing you just pointed out there because it shows you you're in power. I know it's
Yes.
very easy for us to feel like we're a victim in this situation and we're a victim in the world. It isn't so. You can start taking your power back. And right now, you're starting by taking power back over how you feel. You see, it might
Yes.
not be so clear that you can control the world around you, but one thing that is clear is you can control how you feel, how you react to it. And just by releasing now, you're not having to fight through yourself, right? So you have control over that. And that's the first step. And as you practice this, then you start to realize the control that you have, that you can demonstrate in the world. And you can start to realize that now by just looking at your future. What does the
Yeah.
future look like now?
Uh,
Does it look better than
I
it
feel
did?
I feel much powerful and much much love. I feel that love. I don't know uh, how, but love will do whatever is to be done.
Yeah. Now notice where you're getting that information. That's not coming from your mind, is it?
No, no, it's
It's
a
just
kind of
deep inside
deep
of you.
intuition. Yes,
Yeah,
deep
like your
deep soul.
inner
Yeah.
knowingness.
Yes.
So what you're demonstrating here for all of us is now you're rising up, getting bigger than the mind. Instead of
Yes.
being this little subservient slave to your mind, tell me what to do. Tell me what to think about the situation. What are my chances for the future? And then it tells you. It tells you how messed up everything is and how screwed you are and how you should feel, right? Now you're getting bigger than the mind.
Yes.
And you're not having to take orders from it. In fact, now you might notice your mind's kind of quiet and it's taking a back seat.
Yes.
And this is now you standing up and deciding, my future is great. I'm having it my way. And you've demonstrated this already.
Yes.
How
Yes.
you get positive, then it's easy to influence your world.
Yes.
And even if you don't believe in the law of attraction and magic, at least psychologically, in this place, you can make smarter decisions. So, either way, this is a great way to move forward. Right.
Yes.
How do you feel? Yeah.
Wonderful. At peace and strong inner strength
Yeah.
and trust.
Yeah. And see, this is the big lesson. And I was just reading what Yakamina put in the chat here. Thank you. I got the love back.
Mm.
See, this is the answer. Love is the solution to everything. A lot of us, we think that our mind is the solution to everything, that it's going to work everything out, that it's going to go find the answers. And we're used to dealing with the world through our mind, rolling up our sleeves, getting to work, taking action. No, there's no better action to take than releasing. And beingness is far more effective than any action that we can take. Now, you might see yourself take action, but now it's directed by beingness. Effortless, it's in the flow. All right,
Thank
wonderful.
thank you.
Thank you for
Thank you very much.
yeah,
Thank you very much.
sharing. All right, Yakamina.
Can you hear me?
Yes.
Oh, cool.
Am I
You,
saying your name? Am I pronouncing it the right way?
well, if you're Dutch, yeah, Jacomina, but we say forget it. I'm here in Van City, and you're in my hometown. Jacomina, but Jacomina is fine, or Jack, fine.
Yeah.
Man, that was so. I really didn't think that this call. Thank you for taking the time for all of us, Kris. But I didn't think this call was going to break through the enormous amount of grief that I had suppressed especially the last 10 days.
Uh-huh.
I thought I was in fear, but we were talking with Jan, and I was in so much grief, so
Mhm.
much grief for the deaths. So I'm good. But the one thing that's stuck in my craw is I got to be honest with you. The future looks danger. It looks, and I know we're not to go in the future, but
It doesn't
Kris,
look so good, right?
no, it's like, what if it's martial law? What if we're all, the economy collapse? The what ifs, and
Uh-huh.
I've got kids too, so I'm more concerned for them than myself. There's they're they're suffering. What if the suffering becomes
Yeah. Well, look,
suffering?
we've been suffering already. Everyone, every one of us.
Too true, too true,
Okay,
too.
so you see that you're bothered by that. You're thinking on their behalf, but you see, you kind of got a feeling that's stirred up in regards to them, right?
Really bothered. Haven't
That's your
slept,
feeling.
can't
It
eat.
really has nothing to do with them,
You're right. They're all right.
right?
Yeah.
So can you get in touch with that? You
Oh
do you
yeah,
feel that in your stomach or chest, that energy,
it's the
the
stomach.
contraction?
Oh yes.
Okay, so open up a door right in front of that energy,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
Let the energy go.
Oh.
Just let it leave. It's just energy.
Yeah. Yeah.
Open up and let it pass through.
Oh, it's kind of stuck.
All right. Well, look right at it. You feel that contraction?
I do.
All right. Just look at it and say yes to it.
Yes. Yes.
Say yes to it a little bit more. Just as
Yes.
it is, right
Yes.
where it is.
Uh-huh.
Say yes to it even more
Yes.
and even more
Yes.
and even more.
Yes.
And could you give it permission to be there?
Yes.
Could you give it permission to be stuck?
Yes.
And could you be happy anyway?
Yes.
Right, it's just a feeling, just a sensation. Who said that it had to take away your happiness? Had to affect your decision
Yes.
to be happy right now, right? It's just a feeling.
Right.
And could you let it be there?
It's moving, but yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
See,
Yes. It's
when
lighter.
you gave it permission to stay, it moved.
It's almost gone.
It's like reverse psychology.
Right. Whatever works. No, it's actually,
Yeah, I can tell the children, don't take out the trash. I forbid it. Then they want to.
just to piss you off. Yeah, just to piss you off.
Well, see, it felt stuck, but you were trying to push it. You wanted it to leave.
That's right.
But the
That's
more
right.
you backed off, it left. And notice
It,
what this shows us. The feeling wants to leave.
ah, yes.
It does. That's why it's coming up. That's why you feel like sometimes you feel bothered. Like
Yes.
grief suddenly jumps up.
Yes.
Now, it didn't jump up to jump on us. It's jumping up because it's like, I'm trapped in here. Get me out. And then you're
Exactly.
like covering it up. No, stay down.
Yeah, and I didn't realize how much, because I'm a pretty good releaser, but I didn't realize with the world events how good I am at still holding it down.
Oh, yeah.
Oh gosh,
Hmm.
didn't
Yeah,
feel
and that's
grief
part
at
of our
all.
journey. That's why
Yeah,
it's very important to really pay attention to all aspects of our lessons, including looking at that emotional picture of apathy, grief, fear, lust, anger, pride. See, Lester said we should pay attention to that, measure where we're at, because we can measure our growth on that, because we could see overall how we move up. But there's one area that we typically get hung up on is pride. See, pride is at the top of all the negative feelings: apathy, grief, fear, lust, anger, pride. To
yeah.
most of the world, pride is a great place. Hey, be proud of yourself, right?
Ah,
The
I think
best
I
it
was.
is.
I think you nailed it. I think is denial in pride.
Yeah,
I've been there.
exactly.
I've been there all month, Chris.
Yeah,
In
you see, because what pride is,
pride.
it's
Yeah.
really,
Yeah.
I'm above it all. I'm better than all that,
Bingo.
right? And there's a tendency in pride to point the finger at others. Look at how unconscious they are.
Oh,
Look at what they're doing, right? Look at how those people are suffering. Oh, I feel bad for them. I feel sorry for them, right? And it's looking, pointing the finger out there, making them wrong. But guess what? Whatever it is that bothers us,
yeah.
see, just like you were bothered by those people that you felt like would suffer, but
Yeah.
that feeling was your feeling. It had nothing to do with them, right? So we're pointing the finger at them, saying, oh, look at what's wrong with you, when it's really us we need to point the finger at. So that's what
How
pride is.
how
And as we move up, as we practice this,
yeah.
we very easily get hung up in pride. The
Yeah.
last, it's the last holdout of the ego. So this is why it's really important to pay attention to all aspects of this work that we do. So you could see these little ego traps
Yes.
and move beyond them, not get caught in them.
Well, I thought I was in courageousness.
Hmm. That's okay. We'll see, life will remind you when you're not.
Right.
Right.
I was in pride. I was, so afraid that I was just denying it and saying, I'm all right. I'm all right.
Hmm. Yeah, but
I'll be
so
all
coming
right
into it.
because I know how to release, so I'll be all right.
Yeah. But see, a
Right.
lot of times you substitute the actual releasing with
Yes.
just a knowledge, information in the mind. Oh, I know how to release. Well, that's good to know, but are you releasing?
Yeah. I wasn't at all. That's really good to know. Like there's, wow.
You know what's good to know about this?
Yes.
Turn your mind off. Shut that thing off.
Shut it right down, eh?
Shut it down because it's not
Shut
your friend,
it right.
right? And don't go feeding that mind with more information.
But I can't stop this one. It's just got me it's just got me gripped is that it is going to be a horrific future for the world. The suffering will be exponential.
Well, first
You know,
question is, does that bother you?
yeah.
Obviously, right? Most of us would say, obviously, duh. What's wrong
Yeah.
with you? It should bother you. Well, how does it help you to be bothered? Is that going to
Oh,
change anything?
nothing. It won't change a
Okay.
thing. Yeah,
All right. Just making it worse.
that's right.
Okay. So open up. Feel that contraction in your stomach or chest.
Yes.
And let that energy go.
Okay.
Let that energy go some more.
Yes.
And some more.
Yes. Yes.
And even more.
Oh, yes.
And even more.
Yes.
And even more.
Yes.
And even more.
Yes.
And even more.
Yes.
Right? And how does that feel?
Quiet.
You said the right word.
Quiet.
Notice that? Your mind's gotten quiet.
Yes.
And it's nice, isn't it?
Very nice. Peaceful.
Yeah. And take a look at the future. See if the
I,
future has changed, or do you just have a different feeling about it? Like it's more possible to have a positive outcome.
yes. Yes, there's a slight crack there. Yes. In this
Even if you
peaceful.
need to take action, stand up and stop that from happening. There's like a sense of courage to do that. Right?
I feel there's possibility that I can act in a productive, positive, helpful
Yeah.
way. When and should it happen? When and should I be called upon?
And where's that information coming from?
Oh, certainly not my mind. It's coming from the quiet.
Exactly.
Yes.
See, now, that's what I said before,
Yeah.
that this is an experiential thing. And what
Yes.
you experience now
Yes.
is that there's a greater intelligence than the mind.
It feels like a top state,
Yes.
a much higher
And
state.
it has answers. It could have very detailed answers. That's
I
what I
feel
said.
that.
Like, even if you get a sense of, okay, something's going to happen and I need to take action, you can still take action. And you'll see specific things you could do, empowered things.
I
And
feel
that's
that.
where you
Yes.
get from this greater intelligence.
Yes.
So again,
Wow.
this now shows us what the goal is. Drop that mind. Just turn it off and
That's
leave
it.
it off. You're not going to disappear once that mind goes quiet. In fact, you're going to be talking to this very positive, silent voice from now on. Which would you rather talk to?
100% that quiet place that is actually okay with what's going on in the world. I can't believe I just said that, but
Yeah,
it's actually okay with what is right now.
yeah. See,
that point right there. Yeah.
see, that puts you in a powerful position to be okay with it.
Yeah,
Not to the
man.
mind. The mind is like, no, that's crazy. But no, really examine it. If you're bothered,
Yeah.
see, if you're bothered, you're worse off than you are now. Because
Yeah.
even if you do have to take action, like, martial law happens, riots happen, government collapses, city services collapse,
Yeah.
and you have to, then it's like Mad Max land out there. And you have to go fight for your survival. Now,
Yeah.
if you're afraid and you hate what's happened,
Yeah.
you have to deal with it anyway. But now you also have to deal with
Yeah.
your own feelings, your own fear,
Yes.
resistance. You
Yes.
want to make it worse.
Yes. And suffer more. Yes.
Right. Whereas now, when you're in courageousness and your mind is quiet, you could take action, intuitive action,
Yeah.
immediately, without hesitation and without second guessing yourself. You just do it and you get
Yeah.
it done.
Yes. I can see that.
Yeah.
I can feel that now. I can
Yeah.
feel
And you
that
can be
possibility.
aware of all the stuff that's going on out there. See, this isn't about like shutting everything out, shutting the world out. You can still listen to the news. You still listen to, you know, the information, or mostly lack of information, a lot of lies and stuff, and disinformation and contradiction going on.
But it is true, like you say, that there's always been suffering. We've always suffered. We've always turned the news on and seen the latest bomb or the latest refugee,
Right.
the starving, the
And the ego
terrorism.
loves that. You see that? The mind feeds off of that negativity,
Got it. Yes, of course.
right? Why is it so addictive to go and see what the latest news is? How many people died today? What does
Right.
it look like? And we want to
Right.
get all the details about how it gets into your lungs and what happens. Ooh, right? It's the same morbid curiosity that we have when we pass a traffic accident.
True.
You know, everybody slows down and looks.
Yes.
Is the blood? Is there
Yeah.
somebody being zipped up in a bag? Ooh, wow, how exciting.
It's
You see, the
funny, but
ego
that's
feeds off of
true.
negativity. That's the
It,
mind. That's why you got to look at it and say, why do I want to not only listen to it, but why would I want to take orders from that thing?
right. Right.
Now you can discriminate and say, enough of that. I'm going for
Bingo.
a walk. All right.
Oh,
Yeah.
blessings. Yeah, I'm good. Thank you.
All right.
Thank you.
Good.
Blessings.
Thank you for sharing.
Thanks so kindly, Kris. Ciao.
Hey, Bogdan, can you unmute yourself?
Hey Chris,
Hey, how are you doing?
stuck in the house for the next 8 days.
Uh-huh. Okay.
Yeah, because I came from UK and these are the rules. So
Uh-huh.
2 weeks self-isolation.
All right. Is there something that you're worried about with this situation, or you're wanting to change about it?
Um, yeah, what I wanna change is get out of my house mostly.
Okay. Now, can you see how this is how the ego works with its dissatisfaction? It's saying, I hate it here. I hate that I can't go out. And if I could just get out, just go
Mhm.
outside, then I could be happy. I could feel free, right?
uh, yeah, Chris, regarding the ego, so I was telling to myself the past few months wow, I would really like to take a break, to have time to stay with myself, to stay quiet, to release, and so on. So I was in the world doing everything I want, being everywhere I want with who I wanted to be, and still wishing for something else. Like, look, the world is keeping me running around. I have to take care of all this stuff. I have all these people who have to meet with me and so on. So I was saying, because of this, because of the world, because of my schedule, I cannot stay in quiet with myself. So um, I was somehow connecting my happiness and well-being with the thing that we have to have a life and be in the world and do stuff and so on. And I was even sharing with the people, would be so great for me to have time to do things for myself. And so I come from UK, and then I find out that I have to be in the house. And here I am in the house, exactly where I want it to be. And now my ego is telling me, wow, you're stuck in the house. You want to go outside. I want to take a walk. I want to meet with the friends. So it's keep switching the place where the happiness is coming from, somewhere outside, looking it. And actually, you never find it outside.
Yeah.
And this is a big lesson for me, actually, Kris,
Hmm.
because yeah, here I am in the house, so I could release all day. I am releasing now a lot. I cannot
Hmm.
say not, but still I am, let's say, not satisfied with all the situation.
Uh-huh. Okay. So you're disapproving of it.
Yes.
Yeah. And what does that accomplish other than feed your ego and feel more negative, right?
Yes, bringing up more tension for me
Yeah.
in this.
And it's that same mechanism that the ego likes to look at the car crash because it feeds off of negativity and it loves for you to be dissatisfied and
Mm-hmm.
disagree and disapprove of what's going on.
Yes,
Right? But
it's
you have
like
to
a
put
kind of
yourself down.
pleasure in disapproving.
And who's doing that?
I'm doing it 100%.
Okay. See, now if you're doing it, you can make a choice. I'm going to be positive and love this world exactly as it is, or I'm going to be negative and hate it. Which would you rather do? Which would a
Uh,
master do?
I would rather be positive and loving, but in this case, not about the world. I don't have any problem about the world.
Mm-hmm.
I just have to love my apartment and being here alone for the next 8 days.
Okay, yeah. Well, just look at that mechanism of the ego that says, you know, it's like Eckhart Tolle always talks about being in the now, right? And that's just it. See, when your mind goes quiet, you're in the now. But all the thoughts that come up, everything that your ego is about, is resisting the now. And right now, your ego is looking for the future to get out of that place. I'm not satisfied with this now situation in my
Yes,
apartment.
yes,
Right? I need to
yes,
get out.
yes,
It's all future based. If I can just get out, you think about that in the future, then I can be happy.
yes. Actually, the the ego is always feeding something possible from the future that would bring the happiness.
Mm-hmm. All right. So, first of all, can you let go disapproving of what's going on?
Yes.
And could you let go disapproving of it even more?
Yes.
And could you let go disapproving of it even more?
Yes.
And even more.
Yes.
And could you let go disapproving of it even more?
Yes.
And even more.
Yes.
And could you let go disapproving of it even more?
Yes.
And how does that feel?
We're lighter and less tension, then more relaxed.
Yeah. And that's all we're looking for. This is now showing that you're moving in the right direction. Not so bad,
Yeah.
right? And sometimes we feel like, okay, well, I released now. Now what? We're waiting for some big experience. But this is it. As long as you feel lighter, you're moving in the right direction. Now, could you give yourself some love and approval?
Yes.
And could you give yourself some more love and approval?
Yes.
And could you give yourself some more love and approval?
Yes.
And could you give yourself some more love and approval?
Yes.
And even more.
Yes.
And could you give yourself even more love and approval?
Yes.
And how do you feel now?
I feel quiet and much lighter and happier.
Nice. Now, are you okay where you are in your apartment? Or do you still want to get out of there?
Maybe a bit more. I still want a bit more controlling the situation, but
Okay.
just a little bit.
All right. Now notice, you're wanting to control it,
Mm-hmm.
but you can't. You're left out of control.
Yes.
And the more you want to control it, the more you out of control you feel, right?
Yeah, the more stressful it gets.
Okay, so going in that direction is no good,
Mm-mm.
right? Let's try the opposite direction. Now, could you let go of wanting control?
Yes.
And could you let go of wanting control even more?
Yes.
And could you let go of wanting control even more?
Yes.
And could you let go of wanting control even more?
Yes.
Now, there's nothing wrong with having control. But can you see that wanting it is suffering? And as long as you want it, you feel like you don't have it.
Yes. I see that.
It goes hand in hand. See, wanting and having, they're complete opposites. You can't do both at the same time. And which feels better, wanting control or having control?
Feels better having control.
Okay. So could you let go of wanting it now? All of it.
Yes.
And could you let go of wanting it even more?
Yes.
And even more.
Yes.
And even more.
Yes.
And how does that feel?
Great. I released the immense amount of tension out of my body.
Very good. And do you still need to get out of your apartment?
In this moment, I feel perfect.
Yeah.
Actually, I'm happy.
Yeah. So your happiness is up to you. It doesn't depend on the circumstances around you. See, it's just in the mind where we have judgments of good or bad. And being cooped up in an apartment is a bad thing. See, sometimes it's a good thing. See, a lot of times we do it voluntarily. We stay home all weekend,
Yeah. Yeah.
binge on Netflix, hang out, take it easy. We don't have to dress up. We can just hang out in our underwear. Right?
Yeah.
So in some situations, we like it. And others, we go, oh no, this is terrible. But it's just our judgment about it. But if you just get nice and quiet, you're happy.
Yes. It's amazing how the mind is proposing different things and saying that this is gonna make you happy, and then you get exactly in that situation. Like somehow this was a dream coming true for me, having to stay in the house for 2 weeks.
Mm-hmm.
And then it switched. No, now the happiness is being outside.
Yeah. But your happiness is now, and it's always your decision.
Yeah, it's so clear.
Right. Now, let me ask you. You see, I mentioned at the beginning of this, we have a choice. We can identify with our mind. Let me share something with you. I'm going to put something up on the screen. See, we can identify with our mind, or we can identify with beingness. Right?
Yes.
Now, if we identify with our mind, look at what our mind will lead us to do. It'll lead us to waste this time that we have sitting alone, to distract ourselves with TV, with video games, whatever we can do to pass the time, right?
Mm-hmm.
Or sit around worrying. But if we identify with beingness, see, what if you use this time, these 2 weeks or more, to meditate and completely go into yourself? What could you accomplish if you did that? You spent your time like that.
Well, I would be for sure in my natural state than running around between the thoughts in my mind and between all the emotions and looking for happiness in there.
Mm-hmm. Wonderful. It's a better solution, right? And it's your choice.
Look,
It's like it's your choice to disapprove of being in your apartment or love it. And your choice makes all the difference. And your choice you can act on right now. So I say use this
yeah,
time. Now that you see it, the possibility, use this time for yourself to carve out
yeah,
a tremendous amount of freedom for yourself. What a great opportunity.
yeah. I'm actually really happy now that I'm gonna stay in the house for the next 8 days, and I'm not joking about it.
Yeah. Just get nice and quiet. When you're nice and quiet, your mind's not there to bug you. You're not dissatisfied about anything.
You know what's interesting, Kris? That when we stay in the mind, it's so easy to fall out and to forget about our real nature. Because how many times did I do this about loving and not opposing the situations?
Mm-hmm.
And still I was opposing it, right? So, and now that I see that I can love it, it's wow.
Yeah.
It's a different place
Yeah.
of coming from.
Yeah. This is a lesson for all of us. A lot of us know this. We practice different spiritual practices. A lot of us here, some of us are new here, just checking this out for the first time. But a lot of us, we know this. We've been practicing this for a while. We know what this is all about and how good this is. Yet, we still run back into our old patterns of doing things. So, as you continue looking at, okay, what can I do at this now moment? Am I going to suppress my feelings or let them go? And you just take the next step. Then you get clear and clear about what your purpose is here. It's not to get back out into the world so you can go and make money and get your goals and be a big shot. It's about getting to a place where you are eternally satisfied, where you're completely happy with now. And you're starting to feel that. And as you do that, it'll just motivate you to do it more. And eventually it'll just catch on and gain its own momentum more and more. I mean, you already have a lot of momentum, but it gets better.
Yes.
Wonderful. Thanks, Bogdan.
Great. Thanks, Kris. Bye.
All right. And you brought up something I want to point out here. I want to share this up on the screen. See, talking about our choice to identify with our mind, to identify with our body, or to identify with beingness. We're always identifying to some degree with all of these. Now, our situation right now with the pandemic going on, it's showing us how much we identify with our body, right? Like, oh my gosh, I got to eat. I better go run to the store and grab food before it's all gone, or else I'm going to be starving, right? Or we're worried about getting sick. We're worried about, having to stay home because I can't take my body outdoors. I can't go down the street and do what I want to do with my body. I got to keep it parked in this apartment, right? So this shows us how we're identifying with our body. Now, let me just go back to the top. Beingness. See, when you identify with beingness, it's I. That's the I of you. When you say I. That's why in the Bible, It's the very first thing that's in the Bible. It says, I am that I am. And when you say I, with nothing attached, nothing added onto it, just I, all alone, that's the real you, the unlimited you. That's your beingness. And see what we're discovering here. See, as we've been practicing this, notice everybody is getting in touch with this sense of all-knowingness, where there's no thinking. You're intuitive only. And there's a feeling of oneness, no problems, quiet, solutions. Yes, I can. There's an abundance of everything. Havingness, no lacking. It's open, easy, no effort, no clutching. And these are in the high energies, high emotions of courageousness, acceptance, and peace. Now, when we go down from this, we take a step down into the mind. And in the mind, that's the unreal you. That's the limited you. And when you are talking to your mind and you're identifying with it, you have questions, confusion, doubts, thinking you're releasing. Like Yakamina said, right? You think that you got it all together, you know how to do this stuff, but it's a thought. You're thinking about it rather than actually doing it. And there's no trust, there's no satisfaction, desires, problems, struggles, I can'ts, lies, effort, and clutching. That clutching that you feel in your stomach or chest. Now, and this emotionally is in the area of fear, lust, anger, and pride. Now, when you really go down, you identify with your body, then you really are feeling afraid and insecure, because this is the extremely limited you. Your body is incredibly limited, right? Just a little virus that you can't even see. If it gets in your body, it could tear your body up. Or you go outside and you walk out into the street at the wrong moment. You get clobbered by a bus. That body's splattered. You change the temperature too much, too hot or too cold, the body dies. You put the wrong substance in it, the wrong chemical in it, it dies. So the body's a very fragile thing. And when you're identifying with it, the body hurts. When it's tired, when it's sick, you have headaches, sleepy, no energy. You're at the mercy of it, aren't you? Totally subject to that body. And this is in the lowest energies of apathy, grief, and fear. So this is to point out what you get based on your choice, on what you identify with. And the smart choice, obviously, is to start identifying with your beingness. How do you do that? We take responsibility for that negativity that you've been suppressing. So you're not going to get up to beingness in your mind. What you do is you get to it just by letting go. Just by letting go of the negativity, it shows up. That's it. Super easy. All right. All right, Gisela.
Hey, hello. Hi.
How are you doing?
Well, kind of okay. I mean, considering the situation around.
Yeah.
Uh,
And which city are you in?
Torino.
Ah, yeah.
100 miles away from the worst.
From Lombardy?
Yeah, and now we're getting higher in numbers too.
Yeah.
So on one side, there's this fact that on the releasing point of view, things got so crazy that even the mind have given up trying to, because numbers keep on going high. Everybody think, oh, maybe tomorrow is going to be better. While not, they're going worse. And then we still don't know when things are going to get better. And restrictions started on about 1 month ago, and getting more and more and more and more. Now we can only go out from once in a while and buy food.
And now they'll arrest you, huh? If you
Yeah,
give
we can, in some regions, we can only go 200 meters from home, and we can have 1 kilometers from home.
Mm-hmm.
And there more and more restrictions that you couldn't imagine just 2 weeks ago.
Yeah.
But they become so crazy that now people sometimes you walk out, and because they're so frustrated and scared that if they see somebody walking, even if there is going to work or going to buy food or for whatever reason, we can walk just around, and then they scream at people, go back home, and insult people. So it's all kind of blowing up, but it's that whoever have some methods like that, releasing, you can only do that or about feelings, because there's no way to otherwise. So even the mind said, okay, I don't know what to say. It just
Look, yeah, what a great gift this is.
Yeah, I
Because
suggest
this
other
shows us
people
how much we're
to,
wanting to run to our mind. We're wanting to know, how long is this going to last? When is this going to end?
yeah,
Right? We want some sort of mental certainty. And
yeah,
that's why all the stock markets are going crazy, because there's no certainty. So everybody's freaking out. And this is good because it shows you, okay,
it's so beyond
if you're smart enough to recognize it, see, if you're not smart, you're just going to keep pounding your mind. Give me that answer. Give me that answer. Give me that answer. But
Yeah.
now, since you're smart enough, you know that there is another way, then you can recognize, whoa, there is no answer that my mind can think of,
Yeah,
because this is totally new territory. Therefore, I only have one option left now. Just surrender.
yeah, that's pretty much what's, whoever have an instrument. Otherwise, I think maybe you go crazy. I don't know. But in general, for
For sure.
those who are lucky enough to be like this, I think it's we just have to. And however, I would suggest everybody in other countries not to need to reach this level and find, this, realization to say, well, really, there's no way to figure it out.
Mhm.
So just stop and just, just work on feelings and fear
Yeah.
and all these things.
So let's do this now. This is a great,
Yeah, this part I'm
a
kind
great
of,
thing that you mentioned here, because we could do another little exercise.
yeah, because
We wanted to figure it out, right? Because your mind can't come up with a solution.
yeah, I was just
There's
saying,
no idea
yeah.
what's going to happen, right?
But I wanted just to ask one thing, because now, especially, because I've been working on this, and also tonight, the things that been done before. So
Mhm.
on the feelings, general feelings, and I feel pretty well. The one thing that I really find it hard is working on goals in this moment, because on feelings and fears and everything, I've been working a lot, and also today, what's been done before has been helping a lot.
Mhm.
But the thing I just can do is working on goals, because everything just stay, oh, it's no way. No goals make sense in this moment. So I can kind of easily work on feelings, and fears and worries and everything.
Actually, this is a great opportunity to work on goals.
Yeah, it's just every time I try to do that, that's when mind still comes in and say,
It says,
oh, there's
what's the
no way.
use?
What?
Why bother?
Yeah, there's no way it's gonna work,
Yeah. And that's what you use your goal for, to bring up these doubts, these thoughts in your mind. Remember, the whole point here is to quiet that mind.
Yeah,
And now you got a bunch of garbage coming up from your mind. What's the use? Why even do a goal? Because I need to go out there to get it anyway. I can't. But maybe that's not true. One thing that Lester pointed out, because Lester was a master, and he came from a place where there's no limitation. When he talks about things like conscious creation, manifestation, he was very clear to point out that you have no limitation. In fact, you can seal yourself up in a cave, completely barricade the entrance of it, and then have a goal, like a new car, for example. And it's going to show up. You can't seal it away and prevent it from showing up because your mind is a creative instrument. It depends on how you use it. So this is actually a great opportunity to move forward. Continue using your goals because as you release, like I said, it's like you wake up.
Mhm.
Instead of being a victim to the situation, now you can take command of it.
Yeah, just finding it hard to, this part of me keep on saying, no way, no way, no way. So it's kind of going beyond that.
Yeah.
Kind of, yeah.
Now, something I want to point out, some people, I've been hearing some people mention that, we all have like a shared reality. We all contribute to, the world around us,
Hmm.
and we're dependent upon each other for the creation of this reality. It's not true. We all have our own picture, completely separate from every other person's picture. And Lester is very clear about this. So much so, I mean, this will boggle the mind. He said that two people can stand outside. One person could be standing in the rain and the other person in sunshine in the same space. So I know it sounds kind of far out, but you can, through your goals, completely change your picture of what's going on in the world around you. Now, if other people want to suffer and, live a hard life moving forward, you can have a completely different world. It is your picture,
Hmm.
right? Now, of course, we all do influence each other. See, when we're talking right now, you're communicating to me what your picture is, but I'm taking your words and I'm forming my own picture of what it is you're saying,
Hmm.
right? And that's what communication is. And I give you feedback and then we can kind of fine tune it, but I got my picture, you got your picture.
Yeah.
You see?
Hmm.
And we are all connected. But see, all this picture that we have in the world, it's our picture in our mind. And that's our separation from each other. When we quiet our mind, then that's when we feel our oneness and connection. And that's beyond the world. That's beyond all of this. So if you want to change your picture, then it's up to you. See, if your picture depends on what other people are doing out there, then you have to wait for them to change,
Good luck.
right? And then you get to blame them if they're not lifting their weight.
Hmm.
But it's up to you. You lift up the weight. You can lift up the weight for everybody. That's what the various masters have shown, right? Like when Jesus, you know, provided fish and bread for the masses. He did that. That was his picture. He created that. He didn't need others to contribute to it. So this is how it is. We all have bread and fish now. And you
Yeah.
can do the same.
Yeah, it's just. Hmm.
Right? So that thought that you had that came up, that what's the use? Why work for a goal when the world won't allow it?
Yeah, kind of.
All right. See, you don't have to believe what I say,
Yeah.
but just apply the method and see for yourself what you experience, right? So does that bring up a wanting approval, wanting control, or wanting to be safe?
Mostly wanted control.
Okay.
Yeah.
And notice that out of control feeling, not so great,
Hmm.
right? It's your creation. So which would you prefer, to have control or want control?
Have control.
Okay, could you let go of wanting control then?
Yeah.
And could you let go of wanting control even more?
Yes.
And could you let go of wanting control even more?
Yeah.
And could you let go of wanting control even more?
Yeah.
And could you let go of wanting control even more?
Yeah.
And even more.
Yeah.
And even more.
Yeah.
And how does that feel?
Better. More.
More in control?
Yeah. Also more, I don't know, that kind of things that you can't really describe. Yeah.
Yeah.
So it's a better feeling.
Can you surrender to that?
Yeah.
Just allow that to expand.
Mm-hmm.
Isn't that a powerful experience?
Yeah.
Now you could talk to that. See, that's a higher intelligence now that you're seeing. And you're talking to quiet. Now ask quiet, ask beingness, if you could have your goal. What does beingness say?
Yeah.
Right. You got that answer right away.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. See, there's no limitation to it. It's totally in your power.
Yeah. In this moment, it really does feel real and possible. Then something happened, and then you forget, and then you do it again, and then for a brief moment, you realize it's possible, and then again, you
Well,
trick yourself.
and see, it's again, you kind of fall back into the mind and then you doubt yourself,
Yeah.
right? And that's what I pointed out in that chart. In your mind, you have confusion, doubts, thinking I'm doing it, but not really doing it. And we can catch ourselves, that difference when we waffle back into the mind and then
Mm-hmm.
we come back into beingness and go, oh, no, it's clear. I know the truth. And then we forget it. And then like, oh, wait, I thought I knew the truth, but now I'm confused, right?
Yeah.
So again, it shows, drop that mind, drop all your thinking. After all, what do you have to lose?
Yeah.
See,
Yeah.
what's the worst thing that's going to happen if you work on your goals with the attitude, I can have them, even if I'm on lockdown?
Yeah, I think the tricky thing that the mind just tell is that you're gonna be uh, disillusioned and hurt because you're gonna believe to something that is not gonna happen. That's the tricky thought that comes out.
Yeah, but so what?
Yeah, yeah.
What's the worst thing that'll happen if that's the case? You're no worse off than you are already, right?
Mm-hmm.
So what's the worst thing? Your ego's going to jump on you and go, oh, look at how stupid you are. You're wasting all that time releasing and it didn't do it.
Yeah, it's like
That's what you're afraid of?
not
Your own
reaching the goal.
self-criticism?
No, just saying you work and work and work, and then you don't get to your goal anyway.
Yeah, well, but look,
Yeah.
you did the work and you felt better, more positive,
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
So what if you don't get your goal? And what's the alternative? To worry and go, oh, it doesn't matter anyway, and be in apathy.
Yeah, and not get your goal.
And you're not going to have your goal anyway.
Yeah.
So even if that's a constant, you don't get your goal, right? Would you rather not have your goal and be in apathy and all depressed about it, or be blissfully happy?
Yeah, yeah, of course.
Yeah, right. So what? So
Mm-hmm.
what if my neighbor's thinking I'm stupid going for goals while all this stuff is going on?
Yeah, yeah, not really.
Whatever they think, I don't care. I love them anyway. And I'm just going to work on my goals to be happy, because that's the whole point. Working on your goals is more than just getting your goals. It's discovering where your happiness really is. Because using this method on the way to get your goal, you're undoing your need to have that goal to be happy,
Yeah.
right?
Hmm.
And you're knocking out all this noise in your head. See, how does it help you to think, what's the use? Why does it matter? Does that help you?
No.
And look, is it true
What is true?
that it really doesn't matter? What's the use?
No, it does matter.
No, eventually this lockdown
Yeah.
is going to end.
Yeah.
Eventually, we're going to see where our situation is at and then rebuild, right?
Yeah.
Would you rather rebuild in a positive place or,
Yeah. Better to.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, so you got nothing to lose. You just get more positive, more happy.
Mm-hmm.
And you've been doing this for a while. You've gotten some goals too, haven't you?
Oh, of course. Yeah.
Yeah, so you know it works.
Oh yeah. So so when it works, it works. Yeah.
Yeah.
Just sometimes it just just not forget, but it's just hard to keep on doing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's it. Yeah,
Yeah.
work on your goal.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay.
Going for it. You'll be surprised.
Yeah.
Start manifesting things without having to leave your place.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's a kind of a challenge if you want to, to put it in a maybe
And the worst thing that you'll do is just get happier and more positive.
the worst. Oh, what a drag. Yeah.
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 All right.
Okay.
Wonderful.
Okay.
Hey,
Thanks
thank
a
you.
lot. Thank you. Thanks you.
All right. Let's see. Somebody, it says call in person. Somebody who's dialed in. Hello.
Yeah.
Hey.
Hi, Kris. It's Anna.
Hey, Anna. How are you?
Hey. Yeah. Well, on Friday I felt like a Bogdan. I felt like I'm going to get sick in an apartment, and outside was such a nice day. And today I'm all day in a house, being grateful, being really grateful because I live in Zagreb. And yesterday, my brother told me to go to the mother house, which is in one small town in Croatia,
Mm-hmm.
and it scares me. And I went. And today in the morning, there was earthquake in Zagreb. So on Friday and Saturday, they were calling people, stay at home, stay at home, stay at home. And it was quite warm weather. It was really nice outside, and a lot of people were outside. And today it was cold, even snow was falling in the morning, and people have to be out because the earthquake.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and I was really felt like I was led to go outside of the Zagreb, so I was in a warm house with food, with toilet, with everything.
Yeah.
So it's really the scenario is something that mind couldn't predict at all.
Yeah.
And yeah, and last week, especially on Friday, I was really scared because all the people were expecting that it's going to be complete quarantine, and it brought out a lot of my feelings. And then I managed to let out, and then I really felt like I was led by beingness to go very safer.
Nice. Yeah. And when
Yeah.
you're led by beingness, you feel safe and you are safe.
Yeah.
And that's the key, is being in beingness.
Yeah.
If you're in your mind and you see some of these people, like, oh, nothing's going to happen to me. And they
Mm.
act like, they had this positive bias, like that NBA player that went around touching all the microphones and he got the virus.
Mm-hmm.
So,
Yeah.
you see some examples of people acting like very cavalier in their attitude about it, and then they get sick, right? So, what
Mm.
we're talking about is not blind, courage, where you're kidding yourself. But when you really release and you're identifying with beingness, nothing can touch you. And it's just
Mm.
a very inner calm. It's not pride. It's not coming from the ego. It's just a, a comfortable inner knowingness. I'm okay,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah. And when I saw these pictures, and other people were asking, how they are, and nobody is hurt. There is one person who is very critical, and it brought out so much sadness. I, um, and
And did you let
yeah,
the sadness go?
yeah, I was saying yes to it almost all morning. just allow it to yeah. I said okay, it's sadness. Okay, okay. So then yeah.
How do you feel now?
Now I'm yeah, it's much better. It's much better.
Nice.
Yeah. Mm,
Well, thank you
yeah.
for sharing. You feel complete? You feel okay?
Oh yes. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Right.
And people are quite scared, and it brought out a lot of feelings from people around.
Mm-hmm. Right.
Yeah.
Well, look, they're just triggering your remaining fear.
Mhm.
But if you didn't have it in you, it wouldn't bother you that others had it. You would just feel love towards them. You would just feel a sense of they're a master. Everything's just perfect anyway, right?
Mhm.
So if you're stirred up by them being afraid, that's your fear. Like I said, we're all responsible for ourselves, right? Can you welcome
Yeah.
up the rest of your fear?
Yes.
Just welcome up the fear that you can identify right now.
Yes.
Now let go of holding down that fear and allow it to arise.
Yes.
And allow it to arise even more.
Yes.
And even more.
Yes.
And even more.
Yes.
And welcome it up even more.
Yes.
And even more. And just let it pass through.
Yes.
Let it leave. Just see it as
Mhm.
energy passing through now.
Yes.
Let fear go.
Yes.
And how does that feel?
Yeah. Feels even better.
Yeah.
Yeah. It feels like everything is okay.
See,
Yeah.
that's your natural intelligence now that's beyond your mind. The intelligence that you're always
Yeah.
connected to that is infinite, now talking to you.
Mm.
Now, notice one thing. See, you feel better than you did a couple of minutes ago, right? Less fear.
Mhm.
Now, what happened to that fear? What did you just do right now? Do you
Yeah, I
really
stopped
change?
suppressing it.
Yeah. But that fear, can you put it in a box?
No,
Can you package it up and ship it off to Germany?
no.
No. No. It's like what you let go of was nothing, right? It has no substance to it. It's just like letting go of air, right? So you just opened up, you let it go, but it's a bunch of nothing to begin with. And this is something that I really want everybody here to pay attention to. Is sometimes we feel like these feelings, the fear, is so oppressive. It's something I got to work through. No, it's nothing. You're just in your head. So the moment you start releasing, open up, you start to get out of your mind and all these problems go away. And when you release the fear, it's gone permanently and you realize there's nothing there to begin with. You're just playing a big joke on yourself. And so are all those other people with their fear, doing it to themselves. So you just let it all go. And what's left over is the truth, the I in you. And then you see who you are. And I like the way that Lester put it. You see, when you go free, it's like waking up from a dream. See, right now, this world seems so real, right? And it seems very real because it has us locked into our house. We can't even go outside. That's how real the world seems. We're in a very limited state. Now, as real as it seems,
Mm-hmm.
when you go to sleep at night and you dream, you create a whole city, right?
Yeah.
And you're walking around the city doing things. And it's all very detailed and it's all very real. And you're talking to people, you're interacting, and they all seem real in that dream. And sometimes it's so real that maybe somebody starts chasing you down an alley and you're running for your life. But then all of a sudden you wake up. Oh my God, what a nightmare. Whew. I'm glad that wasn't real. It's just a dream. Now, what Lester says is when you go free, it's just like waking up from a night dream. What's you're experiencing right now is just a dream. And you can't even prove that it's real. Everything that you taste, smell, touch, look at, listen to, is just all electrical impulses going to your brain. How do you know if those impulses are real or not? You don't know. It's a bunch of nothing out there. You see?
Mm-hmm.
But there is one thing that you do know. You absolutely know without a doubt. You are. Aren't you?
Yeah.
You are. That you can't argue with. That is a fact. You are. You always have been, and maybe
Mm-hmm.
you always will be. Just maybe. Maybe you are eternal in your beingness. So now, you just put your attention on beingness, on I.
Yeah.
Just focus on I. I.
Yeah.
I.
Yeah.
I.
I,
I.
I,
And what are you experiencing now?
yeah, it's quiet.
Yeah. No problem at all. No fear, no agitation, no need to get anywhere, no need to change this now moment. It's perfect, exactly as it is. How nice is that? Right? Now notice what you're holding in mind. You see, if you're worried, you have fear, you're focused on a problem. That's the picture that you have in your mind. When you're focusing on beingness, on I, you're focusing on perfection, right? Love. And since his mind is a creative instrument, just focusing on beingness, you're going to create perfection. So keep focusing on that. Keep releasing. All right. Thank you, Anna.
Yes, thank you.
All right. Claudia Superon, can you unmute yourself? There you go. Hello?
Yes,
Hey, how are you?
I'm pretty good right now,
Uh-huh.
but I was passing some very bad moments.
You've been experiencing some bad moments?
Yeah, actually, I was planning. I was planning in February. Something really wrong here.
Okay. So you're not, you might need to lower your volume a little bit, get a little feedback. So you're not getting what you wanted, right?
No, I mean, I'm pretty okay now, but I was passing very bad moments.
Oh, okay.
February.
All right. And you see, fighting
said
with
that
it
I
doesn't
had
accomplish
to-
anything. Right? Now, are you willing to accept it as it is? Or do you still want to change it?
I mean, my lack of control, it's really high.
Okay. Okay, so look, let's just keep it nice and simple. You don't have control, right?
Right.
Okay, so you already don't have control. So wanting control right now isn't doing anything. It's not going to get you control. It's only getting you more agitated, right?
Right.
Okay, so look, let's just keep it very, very clear and simple. Don't worry about the future. Just focus on now, right now in this moment. And just right now in this moment, could you let go a little bit of that wanting control? You got nothing to lose. You don't have it right now, right?
Right.
Could you let go of wanting it? Just in this moment. Could you?
Yes.
And could you let go of wanting it a little bit more?
Yes.
And could you let go of wanting it a little bit more?
Yes.
And could you let go of wanting it even more?
Yes.
And even more?
Yes.
And even more?
Yes.
And could you let go of wanting control even more?
Yes.
And even more?
Yes.
And even more?
Yes.
And could you let go of wanting control even more?
Yes.
And a little bit more?
Yes.
And how does that feel?
Yeah, I'm more quiet, but I still need to work on this. Because,
Okay, you're a little bit more quiet, but there's still some more wanting control, right?
Yeah, it was control, a lot of frustration.
All right. So on a scale of 0 to 10, 10 being the most frustrated, 0 being the least, where are you?
8.
Huh? 8?
8.
Okay. And can you see you've been saying no to that frustration? You don't like being frustrated?
Yes.
And saying no to the frustration isn't making the frustration go away, right?
Yes.
All right. So since that doesn't work, would you be willing to do something different? Would you?
Yes.
Okay. So instead of saying no to the frustration, look at that frustration now and say yes to it.
Okay.
Just say yes to the frustration.
Yes.
And say yes to it a little bit more.
Yes.
And say yes to it a little bit more.
Yes.
And say yes to it even more.
Yes.
And say yes to it even more.
Yes.
And even more.
Yes.
Now measure yourself again on a scale of 0 to 10. Where are you with the frustration now?
Like 5.
All right, you're at a 5. All right, so let go of pushing down on the rest of that frustration. So you got some of it moving. You went from an 8 to a 5, right? So welcome up the rest of it now and let that frustration leave.
Okay.
And let it leave some more.
Yes.
And even more.
Yes.
And even more.
Yes.
And even more.
Yes.
Just allow it all to arise. And just let it pass through. Notice it wants to leave, right?
Yes.
So just get out of the way and let it leave. And let me know when it's all gone. How do you feel?
Better, but I still need to work on this.
Okay. Well, you know what to do. You're feeling lighter, right?
Sorry?
You're feeling lighter, correct?
Yes, I feel right around.
Okay. And what did that for you? You did that, right? You let it go. And if you just keep letting go, it gets better and better. You feel more and more positive. And then you're back in control. And you know that. You've had a number of gains already.
Yes, I had even lately some games.
Mm-hmm. Why? What's happened?
Uh, I mean, the big frustration was I was planning a trip
Uh-huh.
in April, and with all this stuff, everything went away.
All right. So you have lots of opportunities. Lots of games that are coming up. They don't have to stop. Keep releasing.
Yeah, it was a lot of stuff coming all together, and because of this coronavirus, at some point I even arrived for I think 2 hours to love the coronavirus.
Mm-hmm.
So I got more quiet. But yeah, except that I had to cancel my trips. I had an amazing holiday in December,
Uh-huh.
and I remember the last seminar. we worked together about one of my goals was traveling more, and you did with me advantages and disadvantages to travel. One of the question was you asked me what if I can never travel again, and there's a big stuff for me. So
Mm-hmm.
it was
Okay, look.
yeah. Anyway, this was
Yeah.
the seeing now was the small part of all of this. My brother returned from Australia and he lives in Italy in the middle of the crisis in Italy.
Mm-hmm.
And I released a lot on this, but when I was thinking I'm a bit quiet and yeah, everything will go well, I wake up in the middle of the night one night and I was crying for 2 hours, I think, because I wake up and I was feeling, what if I don't see my brother again? So it's a bit
Okay,
tough.
here's the point, Claudia. You've been releasing, you've had many gains, right? And you still have some desire, some wanting going on. How do you know? Because when those gains started to become unrealized, then you're upset about that. Well, I want that, right? But how did you create it in the first place? By letting go and being more positive, right?
Right.
So you have a choice. You can fall into your ego and say, oh, that didn't work. It's all lost now, and be mad about it and upset. Or you can just say, okay, I'm going to step on the gas. I know the value of being positive, that makes a difference.
Exactly.
And now is the time to really practice being positive. So what do you decide?
To be positive, of course.
All right, good. Now, could you just give yourself some love and approval, despite what's going on?
Yes.
Could you give yourself some more love and approval?
Yes.
Could you allow yourself to be happy, despite what's going on?
Yes.
Right? And could you love what's going on? Just give it some approval.
Yeah, this I started to love it already because at some point I was asking myself, I was meditating and asking myself, why is this all happening? And I was walking in the city center, which was empty and was kind of scary and ugly. And then I walked in my park across the street and I saw kids playing with the parents. That didn't happen for a long time, and I said it's kind of return to normality. Actually, I love that song, "Return to Innocence." And, in a way, it's I don't know. I think the universe need to restore itself, the environment, and I'm not blaming this situation
Claudia,
too
just
much.
keep it simple. Quiet your mind. The more noise it makes, the more it bothers you. You got to focus on quieting it. And that's what releasing is all about. You just let go of all your frustration, everything that bothers you. The mind goes quiet, and then that's when you're happy. It doesn't matter what you're doing, whether you get to take a vacation or not, whether you even get to leave your place or not. When your mind is quiet, you're satisfied. You're really happy. Right now, get a picture of your mind, whatever that looks like to you. You got that picture?
Yeah.
Right? Now just imagine that picture evaporating and dissolving away.
Okay.
And imagine that picture evaporating and dissolving even more. And 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 how does that feel?
I'm quiet. I'm not quiet.
All right, just do that. You're going to be in such an amazing place. All right?
All right.
Right. And just watch that mind. Just catch it and say, I'm not falling for that. I'm just going to release and get quiet. All right. Wonderful. Thank you, Claudia.
Thank you.
All right, the other Claudia. Bozenu.
Hello, thank you for this, for doing this. It's amazing to me to be with you. I work with everybody a little bit, and I want to thank you for this again. I'm here because now I observe that I'm in love. It's like my dreams comes true with a partner, and it's amazing what fear is about it. What I feel like I forget about being in relation because this guy, this man, it's incredible for me to meeting him. But I disapprove everything, the situation, me, him. It's incredible. I disapprove him because it is, but I love what I see.
Okay, so that disapproval is just noise from your mind.
Yes.
It's acting up, right?
Yes. It's
So what you got to do is just catch it.
Frustration. It's a lot. It's incredible.
And you could stop that stream of thought by asking yourself right now, how does it help you to disapprove of them?
Not at all.
Okay. And who's doing it?
I am.
Okay. So if you're doing it and it's not solving anything and not helping you feel better, now you can make a decision. I'm going to be positive and love him, or I'm going to be negative and disapprove of him. What do you decide?
I decide to be positive, of course.
Okay. So could you let go? No.
Yes.
You're disapproving of him just a little bit.
Yes.
And could you let go disapproving of him a little bit more?
Yes.
And could you let go disapproving of him a little bit more?
Yes.
And a little bit more.
Yes.
And could you let go disapproving of him a little bit more?
Yes.
And a little bit more.
Yes.
And even more.
Yes.
And could you let go disapproving of him even more?
Yes.
And even more.
Yes.
And how does that feel?
More releasing, more easy.
Now, could you give him some approval? It doesn't mean that you have to buy into his picture. Just love him. And could you give him a little bit more approval?
Yeah.
And a little bit more. And even more.
Yes.
And how does that feel?
More easy.
Right.
Still, I have a lot of thoughts about.
Can you let go disapproving of your thoughts?
Yes, I can.
So you notice, if you're judging your thoughts, you're fighting with them, you're disapproving of them, what happens? They just get more powerful, right? Because you're feeding them with negativity, and that's what the mind wants. It wants your negativity. That's how it survives.
Yes.
All right. So could you let go of disapproving of your thoughts?
Yes.
And could you let go of disapproving of them even more?
Yes.
And even more?
Yes.
And could you let go of disapproving of them even more?
Yes.
And even more?
Yes. Well,
And even more?
yes.
And how does that feel?
Nice.
Yeah. Now, could you give your thoughts some approval?
Oh my God, yes.
Doesn't mean you
Incredible.
have to agree with them. You just look and say, I love you.
I love you so incredible.
Right? Could you
Oh
give
my,
more approval?
yes.
Just words. Just a little sound in your head. Could you give it some more approval?
Yes.
And some more.
Yes. Oh my,
And a little bit more.
yes.
Right?
Wow.
And how is your mind now?
Quiet.
Ah, how about that?
Oh, thank you. I
Love is
love it.
you give it love and the whole thing quiets down. You give it hate, it builds up. How easy is that? So love your mind, love
Love,
everything,
love.
and you're going to discover who you are. Just love. All right. Thank you, Claudia.
Thank you a lot. Thank you.
Keep it up. Good work.
Thank you.
All right, V, are you there?
Hello.
Hey, how are you doing?
Yeah. Hello, Chris. Yeah.
And where are
I
you?
just, yeah, I'm very good. I'm very good, actually. Yes.
Yeah.
It's nice to hear you. I just wanted to hear your voice. I don't have an issue, actually.
Okay.
I just want to say hello.
Oh, good, good. So your releasing's going well, yeah?
Yeah, you're right. I can release this too.
Look, use
True.
this opportunity.
Yes.
You see, what Lester always pointed out is we're in such a limited world. We don't even realize it. I mean, right now it's pretty obvious. We're very limited. But even when life is going great and we're working on our goals, we're still in a place of extreme limitation in a world that's really pushing us to go free because it's throwing a bunch of garbage right at us all the time, reminding us that our happiness isn't here and there's only one direction to go, back home to beingness. So this is a wonderful opportunity now that it's so obvious to use this. Where is my happiness? Who am I? And answer these questions, right? Find that answer.
Yes,
Yeah.
true.
Yeah. So this is the greatest opportunity we have. We think it's a bad thing, but it's wonderful. It's here to help us.
I feel the same. It's a gift, and
Yeah.
I have a lot of time to watch, to look inside this period,
Yeah.
and to do releasing. Yeah, I do. I really explore this a
Yeah.
lot. Yeah, I'm happy to hear you and to hear everybody here tonight and be together.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Wonderful. Yeah. Well, thank you for sharing your love and your presence here.
yeah. Thank you, Chris. It's nice, nice meeting you. Yeah. Thank you for this inspiration to release the feeling good.
Uh-huh.
Even this, and to ask myself what is happiness and
Yeah.
where is happiness. Yeah,
Yeah.
where am I? Yes.
Wonderful. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Keep going for it.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you. And by the way, I just want to mention, I was just reminded about that, talking about finding who you are, where your happiness is. And now it's clear this is the only way. Our happiness isn't in the world. And what I've done is I've set up a new class. I wasn't planning on this, actually. I was planning on doing something else, but I set up a new 6-week class. It's really perfect to capitalize on this moment. And I did this last year, and I'm going to do an improved version of it this year. And I call this living your life's purpose, your true purpose in life. See, a lot of times our purpose is clouded. It's always looking, where is my purpose? Is it in this career? Is it in this accomplishment? And we go and we put our efforts into these things. And after we achieve them, we find out, oh, well, it wasn't there. It's in something else. And we go through this life like this, wondering, well, what is my purpose? Where is it at? Is it in this career? Is my purpose to be a doctor? Is it to be a lawyer? And then we discover, oh, well, that's not it. Then we change profession. Okay, now I'm going to be an architect. I'm going to do this. I'm going to be a yoga instructor now. So we bounce around through life wondering, well, what is my purpose? And so this 6-week class, it's focused on this. And it goes deep. To uncover who you really are, you got to let go of your deepest blocks, which includes your deepest fears, like the fear of dying. And so we do things like confront this fear and get through it, see what's on the other side of that, to find the purity in yourself. So we're going to really tackle some deep stuff and get clear about why you're here. What is your purpose in this life? Is it to be a big shot and do all these things and go on vacations? No. If it was, you would have taken a vacation and gone, hey, that's great. Been there, done that. I don't need to do that again. But no, you got to do it again and again and have a longer vacation, a better vacation, right? So it's never good enough. So this is your opportunity to really settle in and go, I'm here in this life for one purpose. That is to learn who I am. And it's to learn to love. And in order to love, I got to drop all that fear. I got to drop all my other ego games and just focus on this pure purpose. Now, here's my promise to you. If you go in this direction, you're going to discover the ultimate happiness, better than anything in the world that has ever made you happy. Way better. And you're going to have this happiness with you all the time. And you're going to be in the place where nothing in the world can bother you. And because of that, you're going to be in complete in charge of your life. I guarantee that. So I'm going to be doing that in May, starting this course. And you can go to the website right now. You can check that out. And right after that course, I'm going to do what I had originally planned at the beginning of the summer, is to do a wealth manifestation course. And what I'll do is I'm going to kind of bundle those together. So for a very small price, you can opt in for both of those. But you can go check those out now. And I'll let you know about that, that bundled opportunity, right? Also, for those of you who are invited to this call, who are new to all of this, and if you've been following along and this resonates with you, you experience something here, and you see that there's really something to it. What we're doing right now is just the tip of the iceberg. We're just scratching the surface. The whole program that Lester developed, and that's been carried on ever since he went free back in the 1950s, is all together in a 21-day course that I prepared a couple years ago. And I'm going to give you a discount for this course. Normally, it's, I think, $297, but I just came up with a discount for it. If you go to powerofquiet.com, and on the homepage, if you scroll down, you'll see the 21-day Mastering Your Fate course. You could take $200 off of it. So instead of $297, you can get for $97. Use this code MF200, and it's going to take you through this whole process step by step. And there's a lot to it. And it's going to show you how to really understand how your mind works, get into all of it, and pull out all that negativity that's been sabotaging you and been dragging you down. And you're really going to get a clear path to going all the way, to achieving your goals and going all the way to freedom. So that's your first stop. Now, I also recommend, if you aren't on the email list, if you go to powerofquiet.com, at the top of the page, you can put in your email address and you'll get a free video that'll show you how to start setting goals in a very positive way and working towards those goals. So make sure if you aren't on the list, that you opt in there, you'll get that, and you get on the list. All right? All right, Rosa.
Hi, Kris.
Hey.
Thank you for all this time. I don't know how much time you have left, but I was listening to you doing the beingness chart, and my question is, how do I keep myself being at that I state? Because even though I know releasing, even though I do releasing, even though I have already released with you during the day, I continue releasing, but then I still get caught up in the mind. And one of the things I know that it triggers it is me going into my phone and looking at Facebook, but still other things trigger it too, where I'm not being identified with beingness, I'm identified with the mind. So is there like a formula where like that's it?
You just got to catch yourself. It's your intention to be on the path, right? That's what I was just talking about with the life, with really getting clear on your purpose in life.
Yes.
See, if you have that intention, sure, you'll fall off of it from time to time because of old habits. You see, it's old habits that pull you back into, let's get onto Facebook.
Yes.
Usually it happens without you even realizing it, right? Before you even know what you're doing, you're reaching for it, and then, oh, here I am.
Yes.
Right? But, it's like Eckhart Tolle says. He says, the moment you start to become aware that you're not conscious, you're conscious. Right? So the moment you realize, oh, wait a minute, I just fell into an old habit. Okay, right now, at that moment, you're clear, you're discriminating. And you're in a moment where now you can choose. Okay, I choose to put down my phone. I choose to release. Now your ego might start up and go, no, I need that thing.
Yeah.
But okay, all right, I hear you. Well, let's just set it down for 2 minutes. I'm going to release for 2 minutes.
Okay.
Just let go, and then I'll pick up my phone if I so decide. Maybe I'll decide to keep releasing after 2 minutes. Let's just do it for 2 minutes, right? The point is that this isn't a sprint, right? It's a marathon. How long does it take to go free? Lester did it in 3 months himself. He said afterwards, in hindsight, he could have done it in 2 or 3 weeks. He says that you could too, right? But you've been doing this for a few years. I've been doing it for a few years. And the thing is who cares how long it takes, right? You just keep focused on the goal, the ultimate goal. Keep working towards imperturbability. So it's a very clear goal, imperturbability. It's just that goal is very simple. Be in a place where nothing bothers you. Also, you could say the goal is quiet. The goal is to completely quiet your mind. That's very clear. And you can measure yourself. Now, also, I just want to point out, it's very easy to dismiss the gains that you've already gotten. See, are you better off now than you were a few years ago?
Yes, definitely.
Right? Your mind is quieter, you're happier, you've gotten a lot of gains in between. So you're moving towards the goal. It's just a matter of staying on the path until you cross the finish line.
Yes.
That's it.
All right.
Good work.
Thank you.
All right. One last person on the phone.
Hold on.
Hello?
Hi, Kris. Hold on 1 second. I have my son just
Sure.
I can't take this call. Okay, thanks, Kris.
Okay.
You okay?
All right. Okay, so I think we all got the picture here. Use this time. This is an opportunity to really pay attention to what's most important. It's clear that it's not in the world. What's important is in you. And that you have control. Right now, it may not seem like you have control in the world, but you do have control about how you react and how you feel about it. And what we've done here over these 3 hours almost is prove that we can make a difference and prove that we can control how we feel. And that's just the first step. I guarantee if you take that step, then the next step will be revealed that you could actually control the world out there. So take that step, discover that and prove that out for yourself, right? So thank you so much for being here. And I'm really grateful for all this great energy and all this releasing. You know, everything that you've shared about how you're using this experience, it really is heartwarming. And it's great to see how, you know, collectively, we don't have to be swept up with the negativity. We can rise up, right? So let's keep moving up together. And I invite you to join me in May for this course. Also, we'll see what happens in the next couple of weeks. We do have a retreat still on the schedule in May for Romania, but we'll see how it goes. We can move it and we'll let you know what happens, right? So keep it up, onwards and upwards, and we'll see you whenever, wherever. We'll see you all of a sudden. Right? Take care, everybody. Good night.